And coming up tonight, more Ghanaian students forced to take on odd jobs to survive in foreign countries as the Scholarship Secretariat fails to honor fees, paying commitment and stipends. We'll hear from students in Hungary and Morocco. Also, National Petroleum Authority justifies implementation of pricing floor for all petroleum products as it says the move will help sustain a healthy competition between all marketing companies. Details as the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors dismisses assertions that recent hike in fuel prices is caused by the new floor pricing policy. Now, some Ghanaian students abroad are forced to take on odd jobs to survive after the Scholarship Secretariat failed to disburse their school fees and stipends. Beneficiary students, particularly in Morocco and Hungary, are painting distressing picture of the challenges they are facing despite assurances from the Secretariat to fund their education. The complaint follows an investigative work by the Fourth Estate that reviewed how politically connected individuals benefited from scholarships originally reserved for the poor. Listen to the Scholarship Secretariat's registrar, Dr. Kingsley Ajiman, defending the selection criteria that saw politicians and their relations getting the juiciest of scholarships.
In the first place, who do they even identify as political connectors of our party? So it's a data that they have put out there. We need to interrogate the data. Unfortunately, when they met me, they didn't approach me with this data. If they think they had a strong data analysis, by the way of the analysis, and this is purely academic exercise, data needs to be interrogated. I'm a data person. Okay. So they should have brought this thing up. They had a data set that they have slept with it for over 3 years. And this is the kind of analysis.
So
I'm coming at, this is out of how many? Is it statistically significant? It's not.
We are also learning that an MPP constituency executive
don't worry, don't get it.
Let me just land on this. Was awarded multiple scholarship for master's program, totaling about 57,210 pounds sterling.
So what do they mean by multiple scholarships? They have to define their variables. Because I had this discussion with them, and I explained to them, we are running academic years. So if somebody had, let's say, a scholarship in 2019, 2020, and had a consecutive one of 2020 and 2021 to complete a skill development program, is that multiple? So we need to understand what they meant by multiple scholarship. So these outliers that we have picked, significance. You can only throw out political mischief because we don't ask for your party card in our assessment of a scholarship. How about maybe the other side who have also benefited from scholarship, if any? But you choose and pick this few out of a huge data that was given to you. For me, I think the object may not be too appropriate.
Students in Hungary say it's been 6 months since they received their last stipend. They are now working menial jobs to survive. One of such students, Abdul Manaf Radiu, says the situation is dire.
Bilateral scholarship between the government of Ghana and the government of Hungary. On the side of the Hungarian government, they have fulfilled whatever is supposed to be done. But the government of Ghana, for the past 6 months, has left us in our face without any message to us. No one is calling us about the situation. We have sent series of letters to the government of Ghana, but unfortunately, no one has responded, and it is a very sad situation. So they are forced to go and work in the warehouses. They are going to see kids of 17 years, 18 years, carrying boxes of 30 kilograms and all that. And when they come to class, they just sleep. And we have received series of complaints about the underperformance of these Ghanaian students. So it tells you that these students are forced to go and work because they are not getting any external support from the government, which is affecting them. And they have no choice because before you graduate, you must make some publications. And if you don't make the publications, you cannot graduate.
Now, a similar situation is happening to Ghanaian students studying in Morocco. Isaiah Boateng is General Secretary of the Ghanaian Students Association in Morocco.
I came to Morocco in 2022, October, and the last time I received stipends, or better still, we received stipends was 2023, which is last year, July. For now, we've not received stipends for 9 months. We are in the 9th month in April, and we've not received stipends since July last year as students here. And we've also not received our book and health allowance. Book and health allowances also have not been paid from last year. And now most students are in their second semester of the academic year, and book and health allowances haven't been released. For me, I would say the current situation is very appalling, very draining. A lot of students are facing a lot of hardships. Me, myself, I'm not able to cater for transportation to school because I don't have money. I'll have to get a tram card, renew the tram card, and then be able to go to school. So I'm always indoors and then reading through my slides, the slides that I'll find on my phone, because I'm not able to buy books as well. The book and health allowances haven't been paid. So it's only the slides that I have on my phone that I've been learning. So it's very challenging. Students here in Morocco, you would need a resident permit to be able to live here. And resident permits, we need money to register. If you don't have the resident permit, you stand the risk of being arrested by the police when you go out. So it has created some fear among students, because if you go out without the residence permit, you can be arrested.
Meanwhile, the director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, ISE, Professor Peter Korte, noted that multiple scholarship is illegal.
Well, if one completes one and then pursues another one and is going to add value, that's different. But where you are giving double scholarship, I don't think we allow, the law allows us to receive double pay or double salary. Auditor General will not allow that. Similarly, you cannot receive double scholarship. And again, it boils down to priority. I mean, to what extent are these people, whatever scholarship we are giving for this double scholarship or double programs, going to bring or add to the Ghanaian economy? If they are specialists, that you need somebody who may be specialist in 2 areas, and if that person gets those 2 qualifications, is going to bring him back to support the economy, that is fine. But where, for instance, I pursue human resource and then pursue masters in accounting, those are things that wouldn't add much value to whatever we are doing. I think they should identify the gaps human resource needs. At the moment, if it is IT that we need more, if it is medical doctors that we need more, they should channel more of the resources to train such specialists. But we should also have a bond where people sign bond. If you don't come back, you pay. Your parents or your guarantors pay if you don't return.
Away from that, the Ghana Cocoa Board has increased the producer price of cocoa for the remainder of the 2023-2024 crop year from 20,928 cedis to 33,120 cedi per ton. According to Cocoa Board, this translates into 2,070 cedis per 64 kg bag. This takes effect Friday, April 5th, 2024. Now, this was contained in a statement signed by the Chief Executive Officer of Cocoa Board, Joseph Boahin Edu. Let's share with you the details of this particular release, and then we can go ahead and speak to the company. We would want to find out from there, what informed this, and again, try to interrogate the issues a bit more. On the world market, what's happening there, and now, what is the situation? But we understand that this increment is coming about as a result of the government considering that cocoa farmers, the issue of cocoa farmers need to be relooked again. You understand, you know that the situation from the beginning of the year was not as it is, but the price kept increasing till today, and so we understand that there's been an increment. Let's share with you details of this, and if you look at the statement from the CEO, it says the producer price of cocoa has been increased by 58.26% from 20,980 cedis per ton to 33,120 cedis per ton. For the rest of the 2023-2024 crop season. Now, it again says this figure translates into 2,070 cedis per a bag of 64 kg gross weight and takes effect from Friday, April 5, 2024. It continues to say that the increase in the producer price of cocoa has become necessary to enhance the income of cocoa farmers in line with the vision of the president and the MPP government, and in response to the rising prices of cocoa on the international market. So they refer to the international market there. It says government has also approved a review of the buyer's margin to 2,980 cedis per ton for the rest of the 2023-2024 cocoa season. This increase is expected to cushion the LBCs against the increase in finance costs due to an increase in the producer price of cocoa. So that is, the information coming in from Cocoa Board there. Let's do a bit more on this. We're joined by the head of public affairs at Cocoa Board, Fifi Boafo, for more on this. Grateful for joining us. Now, we understand, Fifi, that this is one because of what's happening on the international market, and also the government, sensing that the welfare of the cocoa farmers need to be looked at. How much is cocoa being sold on the international market, and how does that? What percentage is that being given to farmers?
Well, thanks for the opportunity. But let me state that it is difficult, for example, to say that on the international market, the price today is X amount, and that is the specific reason or the basis for the increase we see today. Because in determining the price, we usually strike an average considering what is happening on the international market, and that forms the basis of determining the producer price for cocoa farmers. So it is not solely on what is happening today, but then an average that we strike.
Okay.
You remember very well that in September last year, when we were increasing the producer price, we indicated that the achieved FOB was 2,600. And at the time, a substantial amount of the cocoa for the season had been sold. But we indicated there was some amount of the cocoa for the season that had not been sold. And then we shall continue selling as we progress. But something significant has happened on the international markets. And what has happened on the international?
All right, so we're on with Fifi Boafo, who speaks for the Cocoa Board. We're trying to raise him back so we can continue this chat with him. We want to understand, that sort of consideration that we're giving before the Cocoa Board arrived at this particular decision. So the news is that cocoa prices for the remainder of the 2023-2024 cocoa season has been increased by 58.26% by Cocoa Board. So it's now been increased to 2,070 cedis per 64 kg bag. We'll move on from here and then we'll revert to the story. Okay, so Fifi Boafo rejoins us. So Fifi, your line tripped a bit. You were talking about,
yes.
Arriving at this, the price, you look at the averages, and you even went further to say that something significant is happening on the international market when you went off. All right, so, yeah.
So the point I was making, I lost a bit of your question.
Yeah, make your point. Well, the connection is not favoring us today, but we'll get him and return to the story. But away from that, the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, is justifying its decision to implement a floor pricing policy for all petroleum products beginning April 16. The move will see the NPA setting a minimum price for petrol, diesel, and LPG. It will be outlawed for all marketing companies to fix their prices below the floor prices on the policy once the policy is set in motion. Even before its implementation, the move has already come under sharp criticism from industry players like ASAP, who described it as an illegal measure. But speaking on the business edition of PMS Press Thursday, Benjamin Boache said setting price floor is beyond the mandate of the MPA.
Some of the problems that government itself is dealing with tax evasion, substandard products, are the very reason why competition is important to weed out the very inefficient service providers in that space. But for the regulator to now say that the way to go is to now begin to interfere with the pricing mechanics so directly to the extent that everybody will be kept afloat, whether they are performing or not performing. I mean, we are just going backwards with that kind of directive. And that's why we are really alarmed by this directive.
Economic regulation at the MPA, Abbas Tasunti, however, says the move is necessary to safeguard the industry.
One of the major issues that came up during the price regulation policy review in 2021 was the issue about price undercutting, both from the OMC side and also from the BIDEC side. The fact that our pricing policy is required to ensure full cost recovery of investments because, like I explained, our industry prices are set using a formula. This formula has certain benchmarks and certain costs that apply to all companies. The only difference we see in pricing of companies is the fact that they apply their own margins. So at the worst case, prices should be at a certain level because the little difference, like I've said, is just between, with their margins. So where we see as a regulator, our mandate is to ensure that we protect the industry, ensure that the industry is sustainable to be able to continue to supply petroleum products to consumers. Where we see that realistically, sometimes prices of petroleum products are below the cost, then we should be concerned as a regulator because what happens when this continuously happens is that it leads to a situation where there's debt accumulating in the industry. Because there's unhealthy competition, companies are pricing below cost. And the full cost recovery principle of pricing is not being achieved. So as a regulator, you want to ensure that that is done. How do you do that and still ensure that the competition we need in the industry continues to go?
Now, reacting to government's reintroduction of the price stabilization and recovery levy on petroleum product, Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Dr. Patrick Ofori, criticized the U-turn and blamed government and the IMF for being insensitive to the plight of the Ghanaian people.
I think I don't envy the government and what the MPA recently tried to do by taking off the price stabilization.
And what is the communication as in the rationale behind it?
Clearly from my intel and what I gathered, because the headmaster is in town.
IMF? IMF is not happy with the
yes, you cannot because you've submitted your revenue profile where you are going to generate all this from. And 3 months or so into the year, you come back and change a certain guaranteed or assured revenue stream that because either for whatever reason, because our boss wants to look good or his bosses or the government wants to look good, they decided to take something away, which necessarily expose that. We are,
but do you think it's a good thing? Because I would say it distorts your whole prices.
The planning because within 24 hours, the prices have started shaking here and there. There are certain products that if you really are for, and you are signing up for COP, whatever, and all those treaties, then I don't see why we should have taxes or levies on LPG, for instance. I still have a strong view about why have subsidy for premise when you know you can't pay it and you are not even paying it on time, and then those who even imported the PMS, you've not been able to pay them. And if you are to look at the numbers involved with the subsidies that is provided for premise, it doesn't make economic sense.
It appears that the IMF is not happy with this whole thing being taken over, and that's why they had to bring it back. And that's what you picked up as well. But
yes, that is what I picked up.
But that is a major disruption for your business, as you said.
Now, he also dismissed assertions that the recent hike in fuel prices is as a result of the policy.
It's definitely because of international prices and how our currency is behaving.
Do you?
And then
that because you buy the bulk, you're seeing that at play when you're take your CDs to buy the dollars to purchase a product?
Certainly. You check just last week or so. You know, members have already priced using the exchange rate within the region of 12.14, 12.45 thereabout. By the time the window even closed, even the BOG auctioning for this month was 13.11. Clearly gives an indication that even if you are going by the central bank exchange rate, the prices cannot still remain the same because there has been a change in one of the key determinants. Once the cedi keeps on depreciating and international prices doesn't come down, it will be difficult for anybody to give prices that are not realistic. And on the issue of even the floor pricing, the regulator will not just sit down and look at the market to continue to behave in a certain way, which clearly is not sustainable.
You back the price floor?
Certainly. You need to be fair to all players within the value chain. Even the template is simple. You look at how you are landing the product. Even the exchange rate alone, even if you are putting a zero margin or even a zero premium in your calculation, some of the prices that were going on in the market clearly gives an indication that people are not being truthful or honest to themselves.
Well, let's revert to our earlier story about the cocoa board, the increase in the price of cocoa bag. Fifi Boafo has rejoined us, but this time on the telephone line. Fifi, grateful for coming back here. So, you were alerting us to some development on the international market. What is that?
Yes, the market has seen a sharp increase beginning latter part of last year, and then this year, and then most especially the last 1 month. It has seen a very sharp increase. Indeed, the market has seen a progression from around 4,000 to at a point about 10,000. Just this week, it dropped a little bit, but it is still very high at the moment. It is important, however, to indicate that despite the sharp increase, it is not conclusive to say that you only peg the price you are giving to the farmer based on the figure for the day, because the figures you see is for spot price. But indeed, the price as we've seen moving from around 2,600 to what we see today give us a cost to be able to increase how much the farmer receives, and that has informed the price we have given to the farmer. And let me continue and state that this is the price for the remaining part of the season, which ends in October, which ends at the end of September, meaning beginning the next cocoa season, a new price will be announced.
But like you said, when we were coming in, we checked, it was around $9,800.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. So if you do the computation, it's around 114,000 cedis. So to pay the farmers 33,000, people will be asking. You've explained that, well, you don't only consider that, but what else do you consider to say that out of the 114, let's give farmers 333,000?
Okay, so the 140 you talk about is the spot price. What does spot price mean is that if I have cocoa today and I deliver it, that is how much I get. But in Ghana, we don't do spot sale. We do forward sale. Forward sale means that we are signing contract, for example, today, and the contract will be delivered next year. For example, between May to June, a price of cocoa, if you deliver a contract at a time, is around 4,700. So if you only see the spot price today and use it as a basis to determine a price, then you are not getting it right. The reason why the price is what we see on the internet is because world cocoa production has fallen drastically because of the El Nino effect in West Africa. So the two biggest producers so Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana, we've seen shortage in terms of production. And that's what has forced the price. Because we do not have the cocoa today, that is why the price is high.
Okay.
And if production increases, it will bring down the price. And that is why, for example, if you sign a contract today and you deliver it next year, you are looking at something around 4,700. So if you use a spot price today, at the time you do not have the cocoa as a basis of determining the price, then you are getting it wrong. And just as I said, you also strike a balance of the average. And then you can use it as a basis. Because, for example, if we use the price of last week, that would have been 10,000. Today, that's not the price. Meaning that the price buys, and then you strike an average to determine how much you pay the farmer.
Okay, all right. Grateful to you for the explanation you've given us. Fifi Boafo speaks. Is the head of public affairs at the Cocoa Board. Now, when the Kufuor's autistic child was 6 years old, they could no longer bear the resentment they suffered at the hands of church members because they had given birth to an autistic child. But instead of giving room to desperation and depression, they decided to establish their own ministry to worship the Lord who blessed their womb with a child. Today, Benjamin Kufuor's ministry has grown from a church to a foundation that provides support services for parents with autistic children. As the world commemorates Autism Day, JoyNews' Rejoice Semefa Besu explores the roller coaster journey of the Kufuor and Buila Ibrahim.
Like any Christian, in times of trials and tribulation, the expectation is that the church becomes your safety net of comfort and joy. But that wasn't the reality that confronted the Kufuor family when some congregants began to show their disdain and resentment when they learned their beautiful babies were autistic. Instead of coiling into their shells, Benjamin Kufuor decided to establish their own church. Benjamin says it hasn't been easy raising children with autism.
As a family, we weren't expecting any of this because our daughter started as a regular child. We had our dreams and expectation, big dreams for her. But around 3 years, she started showing some signs of repetitive behavior. She will be flapping her hands, spinning, hiding behind the, the chair, and trying to look at things, at the corner, of her eye, and a bit hyperactive. And so accessing a school also became a challenge. In church was also a challenge because of her hyperactivity and her steaming. We decided to take her to the children's service, but the stigma the sibling, the brothers were also facing. They told us no, if Nanaya will go with us to children's service, then we won't go. So eventually we withdrew also from church. We weren't attending church, and we're organizing our own service at the Achimota School, the Cricket Oval. There are some places that people pray. So we will go and organize our church service, sing, then we have some exhortation, then we pray.
Buila Ibrahim, a mother of twin boys with autism, says she would do anything to help manage the situation of her boys.
I don't think I can put into words how I felt. In all honesty, at the time that I realized that there was something going on with my boys, I decided that whatever it is, I wasn't going to let that put me down.
Speaking at the launch of her Autism I Am Not a Stigma awareness campaign, the founder of Guba Foundation and Enterprise, Denta Amwatin, has expressed deep concern about the healthcare system in Ghana not being equipped to detect and manage cases of autism spectrums.
I think both health systems is not prepared. In the UK, yes, it's a little bit more better, but you find that the black minority, ethnic minority, they get diagnosed late because of our culture, right? Because of our culture and where we're coming from, we take everything to prayer. We, if, like I mentioned, if your child is tiptoeing and not walking on their flat foot, they're just thinking, oh, they'll change. So I think, first of all, it's a cultural thing. And second of all, yes, healthcare. We should be able to be identifying when a child has an illness or a child is not talking at a certain age. And so we need a lot of support in Ghana Health Service. There needs to be a lot of education that goes into the health system, especially I know that in the UK we learn about these things. There are people that come into the hospitals to teach us about these things, and that's something that we can also do here in Ghana.
Autism Awareness is a global initiative aimed at shedding light on autism spectrum disorder and fostering greater understanding and acceptance of individuals living with this neurodevelopmental condition.
So it is, I am not autism. This is still the JoyNews Prime. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll have more news for you here on the JoyNews Prime. Do stay. Welcome back from the break. Now, the Ghanaian Union of Traders Association says it has welcomed the idea by the MPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, to introduce a new flat rate on taxes for businesses in the country if elected as president. The association, however, said inasmuch as they embrace the idea, there is a need for the policy to be properly explained to the traders to avoid any ambiguity in its implementation. Guta said this among other demands at the meeting with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and his bold solution for the future engagement. There's more in this report when Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, where he's promising to make Ghana a business-friendly destination if elected as president.
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's meeting with the Ghana Union of Traders Association forms part of his bold solutions for the future engagements with key stakeholders in the industry. He seeks to get and solicit views from them in fine-tuning his manifesto for the 2024 general election. President of the Ghana Union Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obey, said the sector is bedeviled with so many challenges, including demurrage charges at the ports.
The demurrages that is being taken out from this nation is too much and is so extortive in the sense that we do not know who count the dates and what form is the counting is done. Because if a shipping line closes at 2, am I to be counted by 2 o'clock or the full 24 hours? So who monitors this? I believe Ghana Shippers Authority should have the mandate to monitor the counting.
He also lamented the increasing cost of doing businesses in Ghana, saying that foreigners have taken over the business to the disadvantage of the local traders.
All the juiciest areas of the economy, is in the hands of the foreigner. Which one? So all that we are saying is that we have to tie foreign direct investment with local investment, whether they like it or not.
Some of the traders had the opportunity to pose questions and seek clarity from the MPP flag bearer on his direction and policies for the trading industry. They were much particular about the import duties. In response, the MPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, assured that his government will introduce a new tax system that will also grant amnesty to all business people in the country.
Tax system, no. A flat rate of tax. Flat rate of tax. A 10%, a 10%. Obienim, ufa o calculator, o say, me profit 1,000. 10%, okay, 100. Me tax, no. It's that simple. Obia betimia calculating the tax. So ye na transparency wom, na corruption no so e free. Enti with the new tax system no Ghana, the flat tax system. The tax system from independence no engagement. It creates room for corruption. And yes, sir. So said Estonia for
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia also reiterated his affirmation that he would ensure that Ghana becomes the best business destination in the world if elected.
Business enkosu ya emaino enkosu. Intermediate means major goal February 7th for me. One of my major goals nyame adom na me beye omampenya is to make Ghana one of the most business-friendly economies in the world, and yet Africa in the world.
In his closing remarks, the MPP flag bearer employed on the traders to consider voting for him because he has never been president before, and given the opportunity, he will do better than John Mahama.
Me beye ejumadin amamo. Muha nyina so damakoma so. Me ba help na ya start ejumalo. Na modi we ema asumasia odi ko honeymoon o wie honeymoon ne ba on fimu because on ko election biom o ko 4 years enyasa media modi mamia mesamba 2028 abeseremo meye jumadin enti monfa mami na boy jumano.
The bold solutions for the future engagement with key stakeholders continues with the Vice President and flag bearer of the MPP soliciting views from industry players to make his manifesto complete. Reporting for Joy News, Samuel Mbura, Accra.
This is still the JoyNews Prime. Now, let's still stay on election headquarters, which is, as always, brought to you by Petrol, your clean fuel in full quantity, and Chartered Institute of Marketing Accountants. They together help us to bring you election headquarters. We're going to take you to the Ashanti region because former majority leader Osei Mensah-Bonsu says he was not pushed to resign from his position as leader of the government business in parliament as speculated. That's why MP in February this year formally announced his resignation as majority leader, a position he held for over 7 years. Weeks later, he insists he resigned to save the New Patriotic Party from chaos.
Mr. Mensah-Bonsu, who first entered parliament as representative of the Otafo-Swami constituency in 1997, was first appointed secretary to the MPP Minority Caucus a year later. He is the first parliamentarian to serve as minority leader for 8 years and majority leader for over 7 years, respectively. But what started as a palace coup in parliament saw Osei Mensah-Bonsu officially announcing his resignation after a meeting with President Akufo-Addo in February. Despite 82 out of 137 MPs from the majority caucus showing solidarity, he decided to resign from his position. So why did the Swami legislator resign? Was he pushed?
I resigned voluntarily. Nobody pushed me, nobody touched me. I resigned voluntarily. Looking ahead, I saw that even though 82 out of the 137 MPs had come to show solidarity with me, I could see some gathering storm. I was resigning to save the party. I was resigning to prevent any chaos in the party. That's all that I can say. And I think ever since I did, I've refused to speak to any station.
Though the former majority leader will not give details, he insists he is happy his decision did not adversely affect the Bawumia presidential agenda and also saved the New Patriotic Party from an impending storm.
The major project ahead of us is breaking the age. The project that I believe in is having Bawumia to be elected as the president of this country. Anything that would obstruct that anything that would negatively impact that, I wouldn't want to be part of it. I didn't want to be the eye of the storm. So I pulled myself out, and the then impending storm subsided. And I think it was the best decision that I took.
Meanwhile, Mr. Chairman Sabonsu has officially announced his intention not to contest the Swami seat again after 28 years in Parliament. From Kumasi, for Joy News, Oyeminteria reporting.
Well, the new Patriotic Party parliamentary candidate for Ho Central has implored electorate to give him the mandate to change the prospects of the constituency. Divine Boson said his achievements within the last 2 years in administration as municipal chief executive identify him as the best candidate to represent the constituency in the legislature. Now speaking at the annual Ngoniza of the chiefs and people of Ziave, Lume, in the whole municipality of the Volta region, he urged the electorate to vote based on the competence of candidates and not on party lines.
This year's Ngoyiza celebration was aimed at raising funds to furnish the community's Information Technology Communications Center. The center is identified as the catalyst to enhance the human resources of Ziavilume towards economic growth. The Jufia of Ziavilume, Togbe Ajakojo, underscored the significance but fears it won't achieve its objective due to the poor telecommunication signals in the enclave.
Phone, you call a business where I'm a phone, you offer business where networks,
in this modern age, we all use phones for business. So if the networks are not working well, it will affect our livelihoods. In case of any emergency, we can't call the ambulance, fire service, or the police when we are attacked by armed robbers.
Fire service
So the Ziavi community is appealing to the network providers to work on the weak signals for us within the shortest possible time. The Home Municipal Chief Executive and NPP parliamentary candidate, Divine Boson, acknowledged the challenge and appealed to the community to endorse his candidature to enable him develop the constituency. I am pleading with you. 2024 should not be about NDC or NPP. Who will you send to lobby for us as I have been doing? I am doing what I can as the MCE to develop the municipality, but the president can decide to sack me today. So I am pleading with you, let us be united, plan as one, and promise each other that you will give me your terms. When I return to account for my stewardship in 4 years and you are content, you will send me again. When you vote for me and I refuse to go after 4 years, you will cry because I will deliver more than I did when I was MCE, and Dr. Baumia would perform more than any other president Ghana ever had. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Ziavilume.